Folds around to Shawn with pocket threes with a whopping 4 big blind stack. Obviously, he does not know Harrison and Ron have ace, king, and queens yet to act. I want you to take a second and ask yourself, what would you do with these pocket threes? Hello everyone, I am Jonathan Little for PokerNews.com, and today we have a hand from the 2020 World Series of Poker Main Event Final Table. This was the $10,000 buy-in US version. You had to be in Nevada or New Jersey to play this tournament, and the final 9 went to Las Vegas to play it out live. Poker News provided exclusive coverage for this, so if you want to go check out all the coverage there of this World Series of Poker Final Table, make sure you check out PokerNews.com. They did a great job with it. It's pandemic time. Things are tough, but you can always count on Poker News to provide good, solid coverage of all of the major poker tournaments, so huge thanks to them for that. Here we have an interesting scenario at the final table, where if we take a look at the chip stacks, we have 3 relatively big stacks, Herbert, Cannon, and Haggerty, all with 25 big blinds or more. But then we have 4 shallow stacks, Shawn with 4 big blinds, Harrison with 17 big blinds, Ron with 13 big blinds, and Tony with 9 big blinds. Okay, the payouts for this final table are relatively interesting. Here they are. Can you see that? I think you can. You see we are down to 7 people. 7th gets 163K, but then there's actually pretty solid payout jumps as we move up the ladder, all the way up to $1.5 million for first place, plus the winner of that gets to play a $1 million buy-in, or $1 million prize pool free roll against the winner of the non-American World Series of Poker online event. So the payout jumps are starting to become pretty meaningful. $50,000 now, $70,000 next, etc., right? So we are playing with substantial payout implications. Folds around to Shawn with pocket threes with a whopping 4 big blind stack. Obviously, he does not know Harrison and Ron have ace, king, and queens yet to act. I want you to take a second and ask yourself, what would you do with these pocket threes? Would you fold? Would you limp? Would you min raise? Or would you go all in? I want you to pause the video right now and write it in the comment section below to make sure you are actively learning and making use of your time while you watch this YouTube video. So go ahead, do it. I'll pause. Okay, did you do it? Good. This is a very abnormal scenario because I think the right play is actually to min raise. And you may say, what? Why in the world would you want to min raise? Well, let me show you. There's a program called ICMizer, which you can check out at jonathanlittlepoker.com/ICM. Make sure you check that out. That will actually show you the profitability of going all in this scenario. I've already entered in a custom tournament payout, which is the World Series payout. We enter the stack sizes here, click ICMize, and it will show you that the hero with pocket fours is supposed to go all in with this range in green, assuming everyone yet to act plays perfectly. And you see pocket threes is barely profitable. Barely. Okay. What you also want to look at here is what should the opponents call with? Do we think they're going to call as the solver recommends? And I think that these ranges the solver actually gave are pretty reasonable for all of the players. We can see here the big blind's actually supposed to call off pretty wide, and I do think the big blind will call off pretty wide in this spot. Notice the big blind is the big stack, right? So the big stack's not going to be all that shy when it comes to calling an all-in. So fine, shoving the pocket threes is like barely profitable. But you don't really want to be in scenarios where you're making barely profitable plays. And instead, you want to be finding spots where you can make very profitable plays. So in this situation, I can already tell you, if you play around with these numbers, if the opponents call much wider at all, the threes are going to become a losing play. I mean, let's just edit this really quick. Let's say we know big blind, only the big blind is going to call a little bit wider. Let's say the big blind just calls off super wide because he doesn't care. You can click calculate, click ICMize. It's going to run this simulation real quick. And now we're going to be able to take a look at this and see pocket threes becomes a break-even shove just by editing that one range a little bit. And if we edited all these other ranges here, these calling ranges for the other opponents just a little bit, because, you know, sometimes they will call with pocket sixes, or they'll call with ace-8 suited or king-queen suited, right? That's reasonable. Now the pocket threes are going to become a fold. Okay, so fine. What about if we min raise? When we min raise, the big blind's still going to call with a very wide range because he's supposed to call the wide range anyway, right? So we're not really making the big blind play better or worse in this scenario, because against min raise, big blind's going to call a ton. Against a shove, big blind's going to call a ton, right? But if we do min raise and then all hell breaks loose and someone goes all in and someone calls, now we can actually fold. Let me show you what you can actually do with ICMizer here. We can let hero raise to 500, which is a min raise. We can then have an all in, and we can have another all in. Then we can click ICMize, and we'll see now that if hero min raised with something like this range, which, you know, is probably too loose, but say hero did min raise this range and gets shoved on and called by someone yet to act, now hero can actually fold because he wants to make sure he collects the payout jump. By folding in this scenario, you are in pretty good shape to get a payout jump for an extra 50,000 bucks. And the thing is when you're sitting here with 4 big blinds, you're very unlikely to win this final table anyway. So a lot of your value is going to now come from trying to move up the payout ladder. So in this scenario, Shawn did go all in, and I don't fault Shawn for this. I think this is definitely the default play that most people make. And to be fair, probably what I would have made before I started studying final table strategy extensively. And now ace king's obviously going to go all in. Interesting spot here. What should queens actually do? Let's go over here and ICMize this. Let's make this player the hero. Let's make this player min raise with a reasonable strategy. Let's edit this a little bit. I don't think he's min raising necessarily this wide. Who knows what's actually happening, right? But let's presume he's going to do something like this. Click ICMize. So in this scenario now, if this player's min raising this range, the hijack should go all in with this range, which, you know, seems reasonable, right? And now the hero should actually call off really, 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 really tight. We see queens, though, is still a profitable all-in for Ron here in the cutoff, even knowing he's risking his entire stack. So he does call it off, which I think is good. You really just can't go around folding queens all that often. And now we run it out. Pocket queens wins a giant pot. And Ron collects a lot of chips, and Shawn goes broke. And I think most people just looked at this spot and think, oh, 4 big blinds, all in. What are you going to do? But in reality, I think the right play is to min raise this off of a 4 big blind stack. And if it goes all in and call from anyone yet to act, you're supposed to fold it. And ICMizer just showed you that. Again, you can check that out at jonathanlittlepoker.com/ICM. So very cool spot at the World Series of Poker final table. A lot of people get it in their heads that there's not much play when you're shallow stack. They think it's all bingo. But it turns out, if you care about making money, there is a giant edge to be gained by using more than just an all-in or fold strategy, even when you are really, really shallow. If you want a lot of other tips about how to play tournaments, I have my tournament cheat sheet for you. Check it out at pokercoaching.com/tournament tips. If you like this video, do me a favor, click like, click subscribe, click the notification bell. It's all below down there. Hope you enjoyed this. This is a fun spot. I'm going to be going through a few more hands for Poker News, covering the World Series of Poker coming up over the next few weeks. So make sure you check those out here at youtube.com/pokercoaching. Good luck in your games. Have fun. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more strategy lessons, pre-flop charts, and interactive quizzes, make sure you get your free membership to pokercoaching.com right now at pokercoaching.com/free. I'll talk to you next time.